Back in 2020, I did keto like a champ. But instead of getting on the plane to my European dream retirement wearing these size 2 jeans, I dragged myself on board the plane in these. And in this video, I'm going to show you how doing the same thing that worked when I was 40 failed spectacularly at 60. And the science I wish I'd known back then so it doesn't happen to you, because if you're near retirement and you've been up and down the scale for decades like me, this scenario is not just possible, it's probable. The keto evangelists won't warn you that following their foolproof systems can flip a switch in our aging brains and create cravings so intense they can spiral into binge eating behaviors that we've never experienced before. Hi, I'm Sharrell. I'm living beside beautiful Lake Chapala in the mountains of Mexico with my husband Andy and my service dog Sebastian. And the heartbreak that kicked off my dream retirement and took me years of research to figure out, it doesn't have to be yours. For 20 years, I had dreamed of this European retirement where Andy and I would spend hours strolling through the Vatican, climb the hills in Tuscany, peruse the flea markets in Paris. And in this fantasy, I was a fit size 2. But standing in my bedroom, empty suitcases around me, sunlight streaming through the curtains, we're on the final pack. I caught a reflection in the mirror that shattered my heart. Despite doing everything the keto gurus promised would work instead of that size 2, I'm staring at someone bigger than she had ever been. When we purchased the tickets back in January 2020, I was a size 12. I had 10 months to lose 50 pounds, which was plenty of time because I had done it before, and this time I was super motivated. I was certain keto was the magic bullet. It'd been the Cambridge diet in college, Weight Watchers in law school, Jenny Craig in my 30s, and Atkins in my 40s. They all worked. But then I'd hit an exciting new low, celebrate, and immediately bounce right back up the scale, every time becoming heavier than ever. Sound familiar? If that yo-yo cycle resonates with you, hit that like button so I know you understand. So 3 weeks before turning 60 in January 2020, I signed up for a doctor's online keto program that had weekly Zoom coaching. I purged my kitchen of anything that didn't scream ketosis. There was no doubt in my mind I was going to do the happy dance onto the plane in October in a brand new size 2 wardrobe with my heart soaring. And instead, I grimly dragged myself on board in those tight 20-size jeans. But I still wasn't going to give up that dream, so in the belly of the plane, 3 jumbo suitcases stuffed with clothes in every size 2 to 20. But what happened between that optimistic start and boarding the plane? Well, at first, keto worked, like they all do. 3 months in, I was 40 pounds down. I was marveling at my discipline. I had hit every macro. I was always in ketosis, and I didn't even consider straying. I was a rock star. With every win, I was smart. I'd buy new clothes in size 2 or 4, and I steadily filled my closet with this new retirement wardrobe. Then something shifted. My brain lit up like a wildfire. Cravings didn't just whisper, they roared, relentless, 24/7. I couldn't get satisfied after eating, and I started to spiral with fear. What changed at 60? Why did keto, followed perfectly, backfire so spectacularly? That is what I have spent the last few years figuring out, and today I'm going to share the science so that you can avoid my mistakes. Before my 60s, when the voice in my head said, "You need some," I could shut it down. And if it didn't shut down, I'd have 1 square of dark chocolate and move on. I thought my willpower was an endless resource that I could tap into anytime. And I never looked too closely at why I always bounced right back up the scale. And what I didn't know back then was that by 60, decades of eating processed carbs, perfectly engineered to hook me, had rewired my brain. The satiety pathways had faded, while the craving circuits had been carved deeper, year after year. So when I started keto, I thought I was returning to a proven recipe for success. Instead, I poked a sleeping dragon, an addict brain that had been waiting decades to take absolute control. At first, I thought staying busy would protect me because we were selling our house and all the content. We were downsizing to just 2 checked bags each. We were learning new language, researching European destinations, plotting out the first year's itinerary, booking Airbnbs, getting paperwork for Sebastian to accompany me on the flight, all during the COVID lockdown. So surely all of that would keep me on track, right? Well, my addict brain, it had other plans. It started whispering, just one more fat bomb. It's keto. You're fine. You're still in ketosis. Let's go. And here's what I didn't know. The keto industry's dessert-forward programs, they work great for non-addicts, but they're deadly for us. They keep us hooked the same way processed food companies did. Only now we're convinced it's healthy. And research shows artificial sweeteners make cravings more intense, not less. They fool your taste buds, but not your brain. So when your brain tastes sweet, but doesn't get those calories, it becomes urgent, saying, find the real thing, find the real thing. And we find ourselves in the kitchen, even right after a meal, looking for more, something more. But we can never get enough. So if you're like I was and didn't know any of this, you just keto harder, more perfectly. And the more perfect you do it, the more fired up your brain becomes. And the cravings escalate. We're not just fighting biology. We're fighting a multi-billion-dollar industry that's created plans and foods intentionally designed to keep us addicted. And if this is starting to click for you, that we have been set up, drop a comment and let me know you're seeing through their game. And to help you decode what your own body might be telling you, I created something I wish I had had 30 years ago. It's called the Body Warning System Your Doctor Never Taught You. 3 checklists every woman over 50 needs. It helps you spot the red flags for inflammation, sugar and processed carb addiction signs, and hidden conditions like lipedema or lymphedema that most doctors miss, but millions of women have. And though I did write it for women just like me, it works great for men too. So drop checklists in the comments and I'll send it to you for free. Now here's where the real danger is for sugar and processed carb addicts like me. By month 4 of perfect keto, my healthy treats had stoked my brain's fire to a breaking point. And one afternoon, after hours of packing boxes, garage sale, overwhelmed, my addict voice wasn't just whispering, it started screaming, the real thing is better. You've stopped losing weight anyway. So let's just get this craving out of your system and you can get back on track tomorrow. Minutes later, I was hunched down in my car, inhaling a 4-pack of Bakery Fresh eclairs. Then I got out, threw away the evidence, and drove home full of shame, like nothing had happened. And that was my first binge episode. And the start of a spiral that bounced me from a size 8 to a size 20 in the remaining 6 months. The cravings, they never shut off. Every day became a battle between the person I wanted to be and the voice that had taken over the wheel. And 5 years later, that voice, it's still there. If you've ever felt like you are battling a voice in your head that's stronger than your willpower, you're not alone. And let me know in the comments, because I read every single one. And here's something even more worrying than the size of my jeans. In retirement, every carb binge doesn't just add pounds, it ages our cells, inflames our brains, our hearts, our joints. It's stealing our health and robbing us of years. In early 2023, Andy and I made a decision that felt extreme. We went full carnivore. For 7 months, we were strict. Pork, beef, chicken, eggs, cheese, and full-fat cream. We made carnivore versions of fat bombs and ice cream because they were sugar-free, and we didn't yet realize that they were still feeding our carb and sugar addiction. The cravings didn't vanish, but they did quiet because we had eliminated all fruits and veggies, and our minds were calmer. Our energy surged. Joint pain disappeared. The migraines I'd had since puberty, gone. Decades-long depression lifted. We tapered off all our medications really slowly, but we were medication-free. 70 pounds lighter each in 7 months, back to our high school weights. And for the first time since we'd left the U.S., I unpacked my size 2 clothes, including those jeans I held up at the beginning. Here's a photo with me wearing them after 7 months of carnivore. But then, like everything, every time we got cocky. After months of success, we celebrated our anniversary with dinner out. We thought we had it figured out. We planned carefully. We were going to order ribeyes with no sides, drink water, and grab a small dessert on the way home. But we made a rookie addict mistake. We took the menu. The cravings lit up like fireworks. The ribeyes, they became pasta primavera with garlic bread, salad, margaritas. And on the way home, instead of a small dessert, we bought a jumbo cheesecake from Costco because we were going to freeze it, right? No, we ate it in 48 hours and then went into the carb ditch spiral for 18 months and gained 50 of those 70 pounds back. And you know what? We're still not back on track, but we're getting there. But I want you to know what we discovered because I know it could save you so much pain and failure. The addiction dragon hadn't been slain with carnivore back in 2023, was just asleep. Because those carnivore treats, they kept the addict wiring intact the entire time, and we didn't know it. But we do now. We've accepted the truth. Some of us can't moderate. We're wired differently. And if we want to fully enjoy our retirement with health, energy, mental clarity, the answer is simple. No treats, no exceptions. Complete sobriety from foods that hijack our brains. But because this channel is about honesty, I'm not sugarcoating anything. And I'm going to tell you, I am not there yet. I am still unable to embrace the concept of full sobriety. I'm not even at a place where I'm willing to test whether I can give up Diet Coke and flavored water. And I still have fantasies about those eclairs, that cheesecake, and other addictive foods. But intellectually, I know I have to get where I'm at least willing to test out sobriety. And truthfully, that's why I created this channel, to force me to a place I can't yet get myself. But I know if I form a community of people like you who work together, we will find food freedom. We will have a healthy retirement. I know that's possible. Are you starting to see that moderation might not be the answer for you either? If you're ready to consider going all in on food sobriety, let me know by typing in "I'm all in" the comments. And if you're over 60 and considering keto or any other diet that includes healthy versions of your trigger foods, here's what I wish I had known. First, hormonal changes after 50 make us more vulnerable to food addiction, not less. The strategies that worked in our 40s will not work now. Second, sugar-free and low-carb treats make cravings worse, and artificial sweeteners They may fool your taste buds, but they don't fool your brain, priming you to seek the real thing, leaving you wanting more, something more, but you can't get enough. Third, some of us need complete sobriety from processed food, manufactured carbs, and even all sweetness, including fruit and honey. And that, it's not a failure, it's science. Fourth, our retirement dreams, they depend on our health. And every day lost to food addiction is a day stolen from the life we spent decades building. The food industry, it's built to keep us hooked, and it's built to make them money. And I'm not going to sell you comfortable lies or get paid by keto brands pushing products that hijack our brains. I'm here to share what actually works, even when it's hard, even when we're not ready to hear it, let alone do it. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed that your relationship with food has changed as you've gotten older? Have you tried keto and found yourself struggling with cravings even when you follow the rules perfectly? Share your story in the comments because it could help someone else who's going through this same thing. Getting off the weight loss roller coaster isn't about finding the perfect diet. It's about finding out what works for your brain, your body, and your life now. For me, that means struggling to face the reality of complete sobriety. For you, it may look different, but whatever path you choose, make sure it protects the dreams you spent a lifetime building. Thanks for tuning in, and I want you to join me next week so we can support each other and get off this weight loss roller coaster forever. I know we can succeed, one day at a time, one meal at a time. And if you're still at the bottom of the carb ditch, struggling to climb out, start with this playlist where we began with the struggle on full-on mode down in the ditch covered in the mud, and each week we share exactly what we did, including how long withdrawal can take in your 60s. And that's something no one else is talking about. I don't sugarcoat anything. And this way, with that playlist, you might be able to climb out of the ditch forever and join us here